speak Spanish by any chance?
Un poquito, no mucho. I understand it more than I speak it.
All right.
I might even sing it a little better than I speak it.
Well, I remember you were singing Sangre a little bit in Spanish.
Yeah, I put a little bit of Spanish in some of the stuff, but I try to be very careful with it just because I don't want to I don't want to say things the wrong way. I think the Tex-Mex interpretation of Spanish is a lot different than actual Spanish, so I try and keep it to the things I know.
All right. So let's go in English. Let me just start in Spanish just for the audience, and then
Yes,
we'll
sir.
go on in English. ¿Qué tal? Gracias por estar aquí en Periódico La Roca, en esta entrevista que me da mucho gusto porque tenemos a una personalidad del metal, pues a nivel internacional. Se trata del cantante de ILL NIÑO, una banda muy conocida que tiene pues muchos ingredientes interesantes, sobre todo para nosotros acá en México también, porque sabemos que es una banda que tiene integrantes de origen latino y eso pues nos da como que una cierta identidad todavía mayor con ILL NIÑO. Marcos Leal está con nosotros, vamos a platicar tanto de la banda de ILL NIÑO, de lo que están haciendo recientemente, como de otros asuntos que tienen que ver específicamente con algo muy peculiar para Monterrey. Marcos, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being here in Periódico La Roca. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, man. Gracias, amigos.
You just came back from Europe.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
tell us how things went over there?
Yeah, absolutely. We did two legs in Europe. So we did 3 weeks, and then we came home for about 14 days, and then we went back for another 3 weeks. And this was my first time journeying overseas, and I can't tell you how amazing it was. It was the first time I'd ever played in front of that many people. I've played in front of a lot of people, but never 85,000, 75,000, 60,000. We were opening up for Metallica and for some of the biggest name, Judas Priest, As I Lay Dying. I mean, we were opening up for some of the biggest bands out there. So for me, it was a amazing experience, man, for my first time being over there. Yes, absolutely. And I grew up listening to those bands, but also when I first caught my first break in the industry, I was managed by Chuck Billy from Testament, Maria
Oh,
Ferrero, and Johnny Z, Johnny and Marcia Zazula, who found Testament, Metallica, everybody. So through them, I was indoctored into even more metal and, learning about bands like Exodus and getting to tour with Slayer and King Diamond. It was they I was always a metal kid, but they definitely took it to another height, and I'm very thankful to know those people and to call them family. I've been in the band about 3 years, and it's been, obviously when you replace a vocalist that's been there for a long time, I know people are a little abrasive and are a little worried, but I always tell fans that I meet every night, every time that we play. I grew up as a fan of El Nino, so if there's anybody that can honor the legacy as well as take that legacy into the future, it's definitely me. So yeah, man, it's been a crazy 3 years.
3 years. I think during this COVID-19 thing, you didn't play very much, I think.
No,
Um,
no, not at all. But you know what? I have to credit Dave Shivari from El Nino because even though the world stopped and we didn't know what we were gonna do, he had a game plan, and through that game plan, we were able to release singles and keep the band relevant, put the band to a new audience. And man, I'll tell you what, that's what I wanted to do when I joined this band. When I got in El Nino, my goal was put the band back into prominence where it was when I discovered them. And just to see all the success that we've been having is definitely life changing, and I'm very thankful for it. I'm thankful for the fans, everybody, for giving me an opportunity.
Good. And now you have Mark Rizzo back in the band.
Yes.
How do you like him? How do you like the band now?
Man, let me tell you what, man. Again, I go back to this because when you replace members that have been there for a long time, I know the fans, they have doubts. I would too, you know what I mean? But seeing Mark Rizzo with El Nino all these years later, seeing the fans, when he walks out on stage, they're just like shocked to see him. And that's something that I'm so proud of. I'm so proud to rock the stage next to him. And he's been a great bandmate. It's funny because me and Mark Rizzo have been wanting to work together for a very, very long time, since about 2013. And the fact that it came around like this, to where I would be singing for El Nino and then he would reunite with the band, after so many years, and everything that went down with him it's amazing to see. Every time I walk out on stage, the guy's got so much energy. I love seeing him do the kicks, and I love seeing the fans react to him.
Yeah, it was great news to have Mark back in El Nino, and
absolutely.
And you also have a new album.
Yes.
Can you tell us about it?
Yes, it's called Immortals. We kind of took the theme from when I had first got in the studio with El Nino. I said, man, I want to take the band back into immortality. You know what I mean? I want to bring the band back to where it was, where I was a teenager, and that's kind of where the name sparked from, Immortals. And that's something I wanted to bring to the band. We have the record done, so the only thing we're waiting on right now is 2 very big guest appearance vocals that I can't say who they are at this time, but they're definitely going to turn some heads, and we're waiting for those last little bits to be recorded, and the record's going to mix and master, and hopefully we'll be out here in the next couple of months.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Did you write the lyrics for the album, for the songs?
Yes, I wrote the lyrics for all the songs on the record, and I really got to thank Dave and Laz for allowing the new young guy to come in and trusting him to carry that sound, because I told Dave and Laz, when I first joined the band, I sent in my audition tape and I said, they knew me from before. I had already toured with El Nino, with Shattered Sun, my other band, so I was the opening act for them. So every night I would go and sing a song with them on stage, whether it be Rip Out Your Eyes or whatever it was. So I already had a familiarity with the guys. So when I tried out, I told Dave and Laz, there's not another person on this planet that's going to sing these songs with as much passion and heart as I have for the band. And, just for them to trust me with that is huge. And, I give them a lot of credit, and I thank the fans for, giving me the opportunity as well.
Well, the passion is very important. So I guess Dave saw that in order to choose you. So
yeah, it had been missing. It had been missing from the band for quite a while, and that was definitely something that I wanted to bring to the table. Is a lot more heart, a lot more passion, and a lot more fire for the project.
Good. Marcos, something that is very unique for a metal band is to have a percussionist in the band. How do you work? How do you work out the songs with a percussionist? It's very very special.
It is, and you know what, man? And every show that we play on every festival, take Vakken for instance, there's 100 bands and everybody's got their thing, but nobody does what El Nino does. And bringing that Latin element to places overseas is crazy. You've seen people that don't even don't even really listen to Latin metal or know of a percussionist or things like that, to see them get into it, it's almost spiritual, man. It's pretty amazing. I'm blessed to be bandmates with Danny Cudo and Miggy Sanchez, and it's just one of those things where they just bring it, man. They're amazing musicians. As great as I am a vocalist, as great as Dave is a drummer, they are great percussion players, and it honestly doesn't even have to be worked out. It's just it fits all the time. So it's a special thing, man. And throughout these last few tours that we've done, we've been incorporating a drum jam into the live set, where the percussionist just, I think if you go on YouTube, you'll be able to find a few of them, but the drums and the percussionists just have a 5-minute long solo, and man, it's incredible to see.
Yeah, it must be something very like crazy, no? In the middle of the show, yeah.
Yeah, it's tribal. It just brings a passion to the crowd. I see the crowd light up with it, man. And when I think back of what I loved of El Nino back in those days, it was the percussion, it was the drums, it was the tribal rhythmic beats, the Latin beats, and to still be doing that is special.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because when people think about Latin music, they think about dancing and all those kinds of Latin music that are very different from what El Nino does. But you also have that Latin flavor within metal. It's very, very, very. It's very good. It's very
it's unique.
Unique. Yeah.
Yeah. And a funny story about that is when I was growing up, my parents didn't really like me listening to metal, and the only way that I got them to listen, or to at least let me listen, you know what I mean, was El Nino. They loved the Latin. They loved that they could connect to it, because they listen to a lot of Tejano music, just like I do, but they could connect to it that way. So that was kind of like my parents' way of I guess, connecting to my music as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. By the way, do you know or do you like any of those Tex-Mex music?
Tonight the Cowboys play, and I'm gonna be blasting some Tejano music down there by my barbecue pit. lots of Bobby Pulido, Los Palominos, Intocable, and of course La Reina de Tejano music, Selena Quintanilla Perez. We actually covered a Selena song because I'm from Corpus Christi, so I've always loved Selena. Yeah, I have a very close affiliation to Tejano music, and I think that's kind of why I fit in the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You do a cover of Selena in El Nino?
Yes, it's called Si Una Vez.
Oh, great.
Definitely check that out. I think you'll like it.
I just saw Intocable this last Saturday night.
Were they good?
Here in Chihuahua. Oh, yeah. They're very good, not related to metal or rock music, but when they play live, they do some bits of rock music.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're very good musicians.
Yeah, absolutely. They actually have a acoustic record called, I think it's called Increíble or something like that. It's all acoustic, and it's one of my favorite Tejano records of all time. You should definitely check it out. It's amazing.
Speaking about Latinos, I see that El Nino, most of their lineups, you have had mostly Latin musicians.
Yes.
Is that on purpose, or is it something that just came out? I don't know if you know about it.
Yeah, no, honestly, I mean, even going back to before I was in the band, and I don't think it's something that the band necessarily looks for, because I mean, obviously, look at Mark Rizzo, but we always say Rizzo's probably the most Hispanic one out of us. But I don't think it's something that the band necessarily looks for. I think it happens organically. But, in my perspective, like whenever I was trying out, the first thing that they asked, well, can you sing Spanish? Can you speak Spanish? And I said, oh, well, a little bit. I've never really had much experience singing Spanish other than, having a few beers and outside and singing some palominos and stuff like that. But that is what enticed them. You know what I mean? That I did have some insight to Latin music and Tejano music, and I think it just happens organically, man. But again, I have to go back to, when you line us up next to 100 bands, there's only one El Nino. You know what I mean? There's only one band doing what we do, and I love it.
Yeah, you're right. Are there any future gigs for Mexico? I don't know.
Yes, we are actually in talks with a very, very, very big band that I can't say right now, but I think if you go through, some of the bands that we've recently played with, I think you could put two and two together. But we plan on being down there before the year ends. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for some announcements pretty soon because they're going to be coming hot.
We'll be looking forward.
I'm very, very much looking forward to it. It'll be my first time performing in Mexico and South America, and man, it's I can't wait. I can't wait.
And Marcos, of course, I want to ask you about this featuring that you have in LPD, new album that we'll see very soon. Can you tell me about this collaboration with LPD, a band from Monterrey, which is where I'm from?
Yeah, they. I wasn't too familiar with their music. Juan, he had reached out to me and he said, hey, I'd really like to work with you. And I'm very kind of picky of who and what I put my vocals on, but I heard their music and it was the first time a band from Mexico had asked me to be a part of something so special to them, because that's what I always tell these guys is you're allowing me to be a part of your masterpiece, your art. And, that's a huge honor for me. I heard the song. I was instantly hooked, and I agreed to work with the guys, and I actually just heard the first rough draft of it this morning, and I'm very, very happy with it. I think everybody down there is going to be really happy with it too.
Are you singing in Spanish or in English for this song?
Tex-Mex.
All right.
Medio de medio.
So a little bit in Spanish, a little bit English, or some mix?
Yes, a nice mix. Just definitely, pretty much like what I do in El Nino. But I think people are gonna love it, man. It's got a monster hook, and I'm excited for these guys. I'm excited for their record, and I think everybody down there is gonna love it.
There are so many bands, male bands in Mexico, and it's very hard for them to make it to the US or to the international markets.
Yeah, and that was kind of one of my reasonings behind doing it. Is I love helping bands that are trying to take that next step, because myself for many years was trying to take that next step, and nobody ever really helped me, really gave me a hand up or maybe showed me the way. It wasn't until I met Johnny Z and Chuck Billy and Maria that finally somebody helped me. So and gave me a hand and helped me up to achieve what I wanted to achieve. And if I could do that for a lot of these young bands, man, that's more important to me than any music that I write. I definitely want to leave music helping some of these younger bands take the step up, just like I was helped,
Marcos, any advice, especially for Mexican bands or Latin bands, because in South America there are also many bands. Any advice that you could share?
Yeah, and I think this pertains to not only bands from South America and Mexico, but all bands. Don't quit. There was a lot of times, man, I'm 34 years old and I've been singing since I was 13. There's a lot of times through those years that I wanted to quit, that I wanted to give up, but nothing in this life that's worth having. Like, just take for instance the other day, I stepped on stage at Hellfest in front of 85,000 people. Never in my life did I think that that was going to happen, but it happened, and it happened because I didn't quit. And embrace your heritage, and embrace. Don't be afraid to embrace your heritage, and that's my main advice. Just don't quit. Keep pushing. It's a hard road, but it's a road. It's a road to travel on, and any bands out there that need any kind of advice or any kind of guidance, I'm always here. Send me a message, shoot me a text, and I'll be happy to help in any way that I can.
I don't know if there's something else that you would like to tell us.
Yeah, I just would like to tell the fans to make sure, keep an eye out for these guys, LPD. Make sure you go give them a like on social media. Make sure you pick up their record, because if there's anything that's going to help a young band take that step to touring to the United States, to overseas, the fans have to support, and the fans have to go out and buy the record, buy a shirt, like the page, leave a comment, and it's going to be a great tune, man. So just make sure you support these guys, and El Nino will be down there soon with a brand new record, and I can't wait to see you guys.
Marcos, thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, man.
Muchas gracias a quienes están viendo o escuchando esta entrevista, y el agradecimiento a Marcos por su tiempo, y la mejor de las suertes. Best of luck for El Niño and for you, Marcos. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody.